Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial and Mom, and I'll have to do the review again this week. Millennial hopefully will join me soon, but I want to remind you all to please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we also have a membership that's available if you would like to join. And you will also have behind the scenes look at Millennial and Mom, so consider joining today. All right, so let's get into it. Today is Love After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 18. Just a Snitch. So we pick back up with Puppy and Amber. So Puppy is now at Amber's house because Puppy doesn't want to go home. She doesn't feel comfortable because remember last week they were following Eric and they got caught, and Eric pulled over to the side and they pulled over too, and he's like, listen, I'm a grown man. I don't need nobody holding my hand. I don't need nobody following me, and you better watch out. And so when Eric said that, Puppy was already like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't listen to Amber. She's not sure what Eric will or won't do. So now at Amber's house, they walk in, and sitting on the sofa is Queen. Now we haven't seen Queen in an episode or two. Queen says, so what y'all been up to? And then Amber says, oh, it's been a night. And then Puppy says, we were out driving around. We were following Eric, and I don't want to be home alone, so I came here. And Queen was like, like, you were following Eric. Like, what are you trying to get from this? Puppy said, I don't know. And then the bombshell of, one of the bombshells in this episode, Puppy tells Queen that she's pregnant. She's like, oh my goodness, what are you going to do? And Puppy said, I don't know. See, Puppy's unsure whether she should keep it because of the situation she's in with Eric. He's still married, and Puppy, feels like she should keep it, but she's not sure because she don't know if Eric's gonna go back to his wife or what's going on. So then Queen says, so Puppy, where was he going? You think he was going to home to his wife or his kids? And Puppy said, no, she didn't know. And Puppy mentioned, like, Eric wouldn't do that to me. Like, he don't want to lose me or lose his house. And Queen said, that don't mean a thing. He proposed to you with that ring. He's got a wife and kids. You're the side chick. Now, I said that last week, and most of us have picked up on that. Puppy, you're the side chick. How come you don't remember, or you chose to forget, going to the lawyer's office, seeing about a divorce? And then Puppy says she's understanding of Eric and his situation. And I'm thinking, you are? But then again, yeah, you are, because you're living in another house with Eric. He's doing whatever, but, when he's gone away too long, that's when you question relationship. When in reality, you're questioning all along, even before you got pregnant. And then Queen asked Puppy, so what are you going to do? You're going to keep the baby? And that's when she's on the fence. She goes, yeah, well, I don't know. And then Queen says, well, do you know about the new law? Roe versus Wade has been overturned, and some states, or most of the states, just, won't allow you to get that situation taken care of unless there's extreme circumstances, and really not even then. And then Puppy's like, well, what law? And I'm thinking, what? She hasn't heard about this, but all right. And then Amber pipes in and says, yeah, she knows about the law and everything, because she's been pregnant before, but she don't want to talk about it. So maybe we'll hear about it as the season goes along. And then, Amber gets emotional because she's telling Puppy, like, where did you lose yourself along the way? We're the same person. We're on the same path. You know what you want. Like, you were a go-getter. Like, what happened? She was telling Puppy that she lost herself, and she did not recognize who Puppy was anymore. She's telling Puppy, you don't have to settle. Like, don't settle. And this is really tearing Amber up. I think Amber could also see herself in Puppy's position. But she had a relationship like this before, so she's trying to warn Puppy about what to do. But Puppy's saying again, she's not stupid. Queen says, well, we have your back regardless of what you're going to do. So, but in confessional, Puppy says that she doesn't think that Eric will change just because she's pregnant. But every day she chooses him, and she wants him to choose her the way she chooses him. And then Amber drops another bombshell. She goes to another room. She takes out her phone. She's like, we're going to settle this because those two need to get together and talk. She said that she's friends with Eric's wife on Facebook and somehow has her number or whatever, maybe not her number, but was going to contact her through Facebook messaging and set it up. I was like, oh my goodness, this is the last thing. I understand what Amber's saying, but when Eric gets wind of this, because Puppy can't hold water, it's going to be a big mess. So the next day, Puppy is at home and she's in the kitchen with Eric and he's in the kitchen too. And she says, oh, so when'd you get home? He said, when did I get home? When did you get home? I've been here. Puppy says that, you know what, she was over at Amber's and she was thinking, you know, she needed time to think, time to cool off because you know what? Now Puppy has this energy, you know, for Eric. She's like, you know, I need to be treated good. She's speaking up for herself now. She says she needs to be treated good. But while she's trying to explain her point, she starts stuttering again because, see, Puppy gets nervous around Eric. And Eric says, you know, I don't even want Amber in my business, in our business. Like, how does she know everything? Because you put her in our business, and I don't like that. He said, if you keep putting her in our business, you're not gonna like the outcome. He says, what about the divorce? Why are you stalling about this? And Eric says, I'm not stalling. He says, some things are out of my control. Eric says, I'm sorry, you don't believe that. And then Puppy speaks up some more. And see, this was like a breakthrough moment for Puppy. She said she's tired of doing everything to appease Eric and going back and forth and stating her point. And then Eric's like, you know what? I don't need this. F it. I'm leaving. So as he turns around to get ready to walk out the door, she grabs his hands like, no, you don't go nowhere. Puppy says, I am pregnant. And if you walk out the door, I'm not going to be here when you get back. So Eric walked out the door. Puppy goes to the bedroom, lays down, emotional, crying, comes back in the door, walks to the bedroom. He's like, wait a minute, are you serious? She's like, yeah, I'm serious. Like, why did he think she was joking? The look on Puppy's face, though, during this whole time they were talking, you can tell Puppy has been holding a lot in when it comes to Eric. But this time, I guess she got her courage up and was like, you know what? I can't do this. And then Eric asked her what she was going to do. She's like, well, shoot, I don't know. I got to go to the doctor. I got to get an ultrasound. She goes, are you happy? Like, what is it that you want? And Eric said, you know what? I really can't say what I want. So now moving to Chaz and Branwen. Now, I thought they left the hotel last episode, but apparently only Branwen left the hotel. She is wherever she is, back at the place that she's at. And Chaz is at the hotel. He extended his stay. As we know, he likes to tell us he's extended his stay. I'm so tired of hearing Chaz say he's extended his stay. We know that already. We know that, especially after he got him the dirty last week, like he said. He definitely was going to do that. He says he's noticed distance between him and Branwen. Like, she don't answer the calls like she used to. He called her, the phone went to voicemail. He said he should at least get a random text here and there. The no calls and no text was the topic of the conversation, it seemed, for two people in this episode, but we'll get to that in a minute. But while Chaz is talking, there's a random ding that pops up to his phone. He's like, wait a minute, who's this? And what is this? So when he looks on his phone, it was pictures of Branwen. So what Chaz says is that Branwen, before she went to prison, used to work for an escort service. So he's getting all these pictures and all these attachments of Branwen, updated photos, and it went on to say that for half an hour, you can have nude entertainment for $140, or for an hour is $375. And Chaz goes, oh, see, lately she's been trying to act like an angel, and then I get this. You know, Chaz has always been a little bit jealous. You know, Branwen, she might still be living with Aaron, which is her ex-friend or ex-boyfriend or something like that. So he already has an issue with that by itself. Chaz says, yeah, every evening she busy. She's doing homework and stuff like that. He's saying it all sarcastic, like, yeah, she's doing all this, and, you know, I have a shaky feeling she may not be faithful. But says the trust must be verified, even though he doesn't know who is sending him the link to the website. So Branwen is at a lunch spot with one of her friends from back in the day. We've seen her in another episode before, but I don't remember her name. And so before her friend walks in, Branwen's on the phone like, hurry up and get here. I've been waiting for you. And, you know, this whole time I'm thinking it's whoever she's, I don't know, was talking to on the phone last week or somebody. So she tells her friend, guess who called me? Guess who wants to see me? She said, who? She said, Yola. She says that he makes her heart skip a beat and they were inseparable. But here's the kicker part. She says, but they broke up because then he took on another woman, like he cheated on her, and didn't speak to her no more. Then he got caught up, went to prison for 2 years for violating parole. Now he's out and wants to see her. The friend said, oh, no, he doesn't want to just see you. He wants more than just see you. And Ren was like, I know. And then the friend says, well, what about Chaz? She's like, oh, well, Chaz is on his way up here now. And then the friend tells her that this lady named Tani, which is a friend of the ex-boyfriend of Brandon's friend, has been sending Chaz texts and links to, I guess, the websites and stuff like that. And she's like, what? She's always been jealous of me. And I'm thinking, how come this friend that you're meeting had to tell you about this now? She should have told you this before now, but maybe she didn't have time. I don't know what the deal was, but if I was a true friend to you, see, you wouldn't have to wait till now. I would let you know. So Brandon says, I don't know why she's jealous of me. I don't know. I think they may have been messing around with the same people or around the same group, or maybe doing the same thing, and maybe she was cutting into Brandon's money. Who knows? But maybe we'll find out. And then the friend says, well, what about Chaz? I mean, I know that you're miserable with him and you're not happy, but Chaz offers you, everything you want, like the happy life and happy marriage. And Brandon was like, yeah. And Brandon was saying, yeah, with their head down. But ever since we've seen this relationship with Chaz and Brandon, you can see that Brandon is not attracted to Chaz. And even Brandon mentioned that, inside of prison is completely different than outside of prison. So now that Chaz is driving to the restaurant or wherever Brandon is, he's saying to the confessional that, he wants answers to the messages that he's seen, and he wants to know why Brandon has updated posts, and he just needs to know what's going on. So when he walks in the door, he's got some flowers for her, and Brandon says, why don't you give these to Tani? And Chaz was looking at her like, what? So next up, Sean and Sarah. So they're married now, they're having their reception, they have their first dance, and then in confessional, Kelly says she was there for the kids, but was feeling like, you know what, Sean, F you. She thought she would have been there. Like, she thought, all the time she's been with Sean, all the years together, and the 6 kids, that, she would be getting married right now, but it's whatever. And then, as the first dance is over, Sarah, before she cuts the cake, she says, this cake is not just a wedding cake, it's also for a gender reveal. So as she cuts the cake, the inside of it is pink. And then the next thing you know, Kelly walks over to Sean and says, your daughter's over there crying hysterically. So when Sean goes over to talk to Gracie, she's crying. She's talking about, Dad, this is a slap in the face. Like, how could you do this? How could you do a gender reveal as part of your cake? I've been your daughter, been your only daughter for all this time, and now you're having another one? How's this supposed to make me feel? And here's the thing for Sean. He's been told by his daughter, by Kelly, and no telling who else, is his sister and his family, whoever else, that Sean has been running behind these women in prison, more specifically Destiny, that he has, or his kids, and even Kelly, has felt like he's abandoned the relationship with the kids and the family and just the dynamic that they had. And as many years that Sean has been with Kelly, I'm pretty positive, but in my opinion, they've probably had a lot of back and forth together where it would be like, I'm comfortable with you, you comfortable with me, you come over here for, a minute, but don't put your shoes under my bed, you got to go where you going, kind of thing when they're in between relationships. But Gracie is really taking this hard. So Sean is trying to comfort her, and while he's doing that, Kelly is out there too, and here comes Sarah. She's listening, and as to the reasons why, and she's trying to say that wasn't like that. We weren't trying to hurt your feelings, and she understands why Gracie's upset because her dad was in her life. She goes, "Look, my dad's not even here," and then you see Sarah's mom talk about what's going on. What is this? And Sarah is actually trying to calm her mom down. Saying she's upset because of the gender reveal and this and that. Even Kelly was saying, she felt a certain way, and the mom isn't here for this. The mom is just ready, as she said in her words, to slap somebody. This is the wedding. Why are you cutting up at the wedding? And then Sarah, her mom walks away, and then Sarah walks back into the reception area, and she tells somebody, I don't know, a bridesmaid or somebody, you know what? It was about to be popped off in there. Don't make her take her mic off. And I'm thinking, I don't think it would be different if it was Kelly causing a scene, but it wasn't. It was Gracie wanting to talk to her dad and feeling a certain type of way because, again, Gracie feels abandoned by Sean. And it's going to take a long time for Sean, if ever, to get the feelings back right with his daughter. Moving to Kevin and Tiffany. They start off laying in the bed. Tiffany is smoking a cigarette or smoking hookah, whichever one. It's always a bad idea to smoke in the bed, but each his own. So when they get up to go to the kitchen, Kevin asks her, "Are you still tripping?" She's like, "No." And then Tiffany says, "Have you asked your mom? Does she still hate me and never want to see me again?" And Kevin says, "She just wants to see me happy." And Tiffany says, "Well, maybe we ought to go to church with her. That would make her happy." And Kevin says, "That would definitely make her happy." I can see Tiffany going to church, but I personally don't see her going there for the right reasons. Not just to make your mom happy. You should go to church because that's what you want to do. In confessional, Tiffany says she's so embarrassed because Kevin's mom had to meet her under these circumstances, and says her mother's love is strong and will support her kids no matter what. And then Tiffany says, "Today is our date with Tracy." Tracy is a date that they found on a website to have threesomes and those type of relationships. So they talk about, so what if we don't like her? We need a code word, something like that. And then Kevin comes up with the letter X or something like that if they don't like her. So they agree. Now, as they're leaving to go to the spot to meet Tracy, who is driving to Kevin's house? It is Kayla. Well, she's saying she wants Kevin. She knows that they could be a couple and be good together. So apparently Kayla's been waiting because she knows he's got side women too. So apparently she don't care as long as she's the main one. Now, as Kevin and Tiffany are pulling out to go to the spot to meet the lady, I don't know why he didn't see Kayla's car right there. I mean, she had just pulled up. She was sitting right there. And they hit reverse and go on the way. So I'm thinking production. Had to be. So as they pull up to the spot, Kayla's following them too. She's still talking her mess. She said that she wants to give him an ultimatum, have Kevin choose. But I don't even know why she's still trying to give him an ultimatum because, again, she knows there's other women and she's okay being, as long as she's the main one. What's the difference with the ultimatum? Kevin and Tiffany are at the spot. Tracy comes up and she's telling them about herself. She says that, she's got a stripper pole in her house. And Kevin said, "That's cool. We like to go to strip clubs." She also says that she's used to or spending time being a dominatrix. She don't know if that's what they're into, stuff like that. And that's when Kevin kind of had a look on his face. And Tiffany didn't say nothing, so I think they were a little bit shocked about that. I think they just want a threesome. They don't want all those extras. But then again, I could be wrong. So while they're talking to Tracy, Kevin's phone is blowing up. And as he's looking at it, Tiffany goes, "Who was that, Kayla?" He's like, "No, that's my homeboy." See, Kevin can't tell the truth if he wanted to. So then Kevin excused himself to go to the bathroom. Tiffany calls again, okay? And he's like, "What, she got a tracker on my phone? She's sending pictures." I guess she sent pictures of where Tiffany and Kevin were sitting outside because they're sitting in the outside area. And, he's a little uncomfortable with that. And then Kevin's phone rings and he's like, "Hello," as if he don't know who it is. You know who it is. And she's like, "Oh, what's up? What are you doing up there? What are you doing with that bee?" He's like, "Why are you tripping? What you doing?" She goes, "Don't worry about it." He goes, "You following me?" She was like, "Maybe." It's the way that Kevin talks, the way Kevin manipulates the situation. Kayla is just besides herself. She's going off. She's calling him a bee. "Forget that bee and forget you, bee," and hangs up. And he's like, "A bee? Who's that?" "She talking to you." I mean, who else she talking to? You act like you don't know that she calls you out your name all the time. So then Kevin puts that X on his jacket, comes back to the table. Tiffany sees it, is like, "Whew, I'm glad he put the magical X on there because Tracy's a sweet girl, but I'm not vibing with that." So everyone gets up to leave to go home. And I thought Kayla was going to pop up at the table. As much mess as she was talking, she didn't. I was like, why? I'm ready. Listen. Kayla, I'm ready to see the extra drama. You already bringing the drama. I was ready to see you pop off when you had the chance. Next up is Lindsay. Lindsay and Blaine are on the way to see the lawyer to figure out what she needs to do to get these warrants dropped. She said that she was arrested 2 times in 2020. One for scratching up and carving up Scott's desk. And I remember that. And the second time was for drug and weapons possession, even though she said that she served 180 months. But she still has to serve state time. So she just wants to know how she can get it resolved because she's not trying to go back to prison again. So when she meets up with the lawyer, I think she may have used his lawyer before, because when Lindsay was asking certain questions, he was saying like, you blew it, or you've been here before, like you ought to know what's going on, but you're not good at doing what you do, like staying on the straight and narrow. But one of the things she asked was if she could be arrested for her warrants and things like that. Of course, that's why you're at the lawyer's office. I thought that was silly. The lawyer says, of course you could be arrested. If you're pulled over for any reason or just get caught doing anything, they run your name or whatever, you're going down. She says, how much time would I have based on those warrants? The lawyer said 30 years. And she was like, what? He goes, yep. He goes, but you would have to serve 25% of that time. So that would be roughly like 7.5 years. And Lindsay's like, she's got a job now, trying to stay on the straight and narrow. Her daughter's 12 and, she's missed half her life and she's not trying to miss any more time. But I'm thinking, but you knew this though. So if you had to turn yourself in, which the lawyer was saying, at least you can bond out. And Lindsay heard that, and I don't think that's what she wants to do. So after she leaves the lawyer's office, the first thing she does is call Deontay. And she's telling him about the warrants and getting that cleaned up and the time about possibly going to jail. And Deontay's like, oh, so you may have to go to jail? He goes, oh, man, I was thinking about coming out there for your birthday. She's like, well, come on then. He said, come on then. He likes to mock her because he says she's got a cute Southern accent. And so then Deontay says, so what you been up to? I haven't really heard from you. She goes, well, I got a job working with Blaine. And then there was a pause. He said, oh, you got to be working with him too? Lindsay just let that ride. She heard him, but she didn't respond to that. He goes, yeah, I got a job. He goes, well, congratulations, you got a job then. And Lindsay said she hasn't really had time to call. And then Deontay cut her off. He's like, wait a minute. I saw you posting stuff on Facebook. If you could update Facebook, you can call or text me. And Lindsay just didn't have nothing to say. She's like, okay, well, try to rush him off the phone. Okay, well, I gotta go. He's like, wait a minute. I haven't even said nothing yet. She says, okay. He goes, oh, I just want to tell you that I love you and I can't wait to see you. She's like, I love you too. And then she's like, waiting like you have anything else to say? She's like, okay. He's like, okay, bye. She's like, bye. So, and then Blaine said, you know what? He's sweating you more than a pharmaceutical dealer. I was like, see, last time Blaine said, your phone is ringing like it's a slot machine. And Lindsay said she don't like Deontay being clingy, but that's what he is, clingy, because he's got trust issues. So now we have Deontay is later in the evening. He's at home. He's packing to get ready to see Lindsay, and a knock on the door is his friend Derek. We haven't seen Derek since the first time that Deontay was on Love at the Lockup. And Deontay tells him where he's going, and Derek's like, well, let me get my shoes back that you borrowed. So I was like, you worried about your shoes? So while he's getting the shoes, he's telling his friend that, even though he's going to visit Lindsay, he don't really hear from her like he used to. And so Derek's like, well, what do you mean? He goes, I used to talk to her all the time. So now I talk to her like every couple of days. Derek said, oh, no. He said, He goes, if I'm with somebody, he said, if I send him a text or something, he goes, I expect to hear from them within the hour. He said, but 24? Oh, no. He goes, there's going to be an APB out on them. He goes, but man, days for real? And then Deontay gets upset. He's like, you know what? I'm tired of people telling me what type of situation I'm getting myself in. He goes, I know better than that. I know what I'm doing. And if you, Deontay, are getting so hyped up about it and, almost seem like you about to shed a tear because you feel like people trying to tell you what to do, well, your track record and the track record that we've seen on TV, you need someone to help assist you and direct you in the right way, because clearly you keep going backwards. And then when Deontay calms down a little bit, he tells Derek that Lindsay is living with her friend Blaine. And not just that, they're working together. And he said, and then Derek says, oh, so you really going up there to fight Blaine? He goes, nah, man, I'm not going to go fight nobody unless they come up on me first. And then in confessional, Derek says, I don't know why he keep going back to these prison bays. He goes, he always, gets knocked down. And I'd be like, come on, man, dust yourself off. Get up, dust yourself off. He goes, but if it does happen again, he goes, I'll be there for him. So, they've been friends, seem like, for a very long time. And he's got Deontay's back no matter what, even though he can see that Deontay is back to doing the same thing he been doing. So next we see Destiny is finally admitted to the hospital, but first we see her husband Jason, or is it her ex-husband? Because either way, it don't seem like they're together. And the next thing you know, it says 2 hours later. So 2 hours have gone by per production, and Destiny's eating a fruit cup and everything else, and it turns out that she's not really in labor. So I'm guessing she probably has some Braxton Hicks contractions, so which is false labor and getting your body ready to go into labor. And Destiny is happy that she didn't have the baby early because she's only 7 months pregnant, and the baby's lungs and respiratory system isn't developed yet. So she's happy that the baby is still in there to bake a little longer. And during this whole scene, Destiny and Jason seemed a little bit awkward, but Jason, he was talking in a calm, cool voice. He said that he really wants to get back together with Destiny, but he don't seem sure. And I don't see it, because Destiny to me is too focused on doing Destiny and too focused on getting some money from Sean. Next up starts with a quick scene with Brittany and her friends. Brittany's at a coffee shop. She's pulling out champagne glasses. She's pulled out a clutch. She's just talking about wedding planning and everything like that. She's telling her friends that it's going to be so elegant. She's thinking about different things, I don't know, like on the water or having water somehow incorporated, how she don't want any flowers, just going on and on and on and on. And one thing she said interesting was about the flowers, that since she didn't want any flowers for the wedding, that her bridesmaids also weren't going to carry flowers. They would carry a clutch. It looked like a nice black and rhinestone clutch or whatever, I guess, going to match their gowns. And then Brittany says she's going to be particular about the hair and makeup, how everybody's going to have like long sleek ponytails. So she's really planning this wedding, really getting it on the ball. And then when we do see Ray, he's at home working out, and his grandmother comes by to talk to him. When his grandma comes over, on the screen it says 18 days till the wedding. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, wait. Brittany and Ray just got engaged last episode. So between the last episode and now is 18 days? I wonder how long that production really was, because there's still no blessing from the dad, and now there's 18 days to the wedding. Okay. So the grandma asked Ray how he was doing. Was he ready to get married? And she said, I came over to talk to you. And then she hands Ray a picture, and it's a picture of Ray with his mother. And grandma says, I don't remember what occasion it was. And Ray remembered it. It was from his kindergarten graduation. And then Ray also reminded us that his mother was killed when he was 11 due to gun violence. And, he was saying how he really misses her and wish he was there to help wedding plan and be at the wedding. But the grandma says, well, she'll be there in spirit. And Ray said, yeah, she will, and we'll leave her chair open for her as if she was there. And I really like the relationship that Ray has with his grandmother. You can see it from the first season they were on up until now. Like, he really respects his grandma. So when Ray's grandma gets to talking, she said, I want to tell you 2 things. Don't start nothing you can't keep up. And that people fall out mainly because of money. So after she said that, Ray mentioned that the prenup that Brittany was suggesting to him, and not having the blessing from her dad. And, he said, I thought it was the mom. I thought it would be the mom too, especially how she was acting last season. And then the grandma said, well, you know what? I can see why about the blessings of the father, because, that's his daughter, and you always want the best for your daughter. But little does he know, you are the best. I was like, okay, grandma. And then Ray mentions the restitution. And he goes, as soon as I got my ankle monitor off, the first thing I did was get a job, and on my first paycheck, I started paying that back. It's like, for them to bring it up, it's only a couple more weeks to the wedding. So his grandma was like, well, you know what? I know you want to feel like with your wedding, you want to be all the way in. You want to feel like you are all the way in. And Ray was like, yeah, I do. And then last but not least, Brittany and Marcelino. So Brittany is driving. She tells us that she hasn't been home in a couple of days, and she's still upset about what happened with Amanda lying to her, Marcelino lying to her. She says she's never had gone through this before, and she never would have thought that, having a threesome or just doing different little things like that Marcelino would go out and lose his mind. Almost as if, he's never had anything before, never done anything before. That's the way I took it. Brittany says she feels like she didn't ruin anything. She feels like this is solely their fault because Marcelino and Amanda went behind her back. But again, I have to say, once you invite somebody in. So Brittany ended up driving to a part of the desert where she feels like she could go clear her mind. But honestly, living here too in Vegas, everywhere you turn is a desert. So, I mean, she didn't have to drive far. But while she's out there, she said that this was her favorite spot with Marcelino. And they came out there all the time to talk about things and just, you know, to get away. Brittany's saying how she did everything right, plus some when she got out of prison. She doesn't understand why sometimes things don't work out for her. She's all cried out, says she's angry, can't take it anymore. And she realized that she's gonna have to talk to Marcelino. And if Marcelino doesn't get on the same wavelength, or, you know, he doesn't own up to what he did, he can get out of her house and move on. I was like, okay, Brittany. So that was the end of the episode. But now for next week, which is also my birthday, I'm so excited. If the episodes hold up to be true and all this happens, next week's gonna be epic. We're gonna have Kayla at Kevin's house sending a video to Tiffany with Kevin in the shower talking about, hey babe, you okay? To Chance asking Taylor for a DNA test. To Brittany going off on Marcelino. And an altercation at Amber's house. So maybe Amber invited Eric's wife Heather there, because remember she said that she was friends with her on Facebook. So I'm definitely looking forward to that episode. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And consider joining that membership. So until next week, live simply, be grateful.